Hello and welcome. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. The big story for all of us today should be one and only one story: the nightmare that is unfolding in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is now 95 miles short of Kabul. For the Afghan people, this is their worst nightmare come true, but it is perhaps the worst imaginable situation for the women of Afghanistan as medieval terrorists return possibly to controlling the country. Let's bring up a big story on the program today. As we mentioned, as the Taliban takes control of key capitals, among these capitals is Ghazni, which is just 95 miles short of Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. Will the world look on and let this happen? All of this is happening amid reports that the Kabul negotiators are offering the Taliban a deal to be part of the government, a power sharing proposal. Can that work, and will it change anything at all? Remember, the Taliban is already back to its medieval ways. Reports are emerging from Afghanistan that little girls are being forced into marriage unions with their fighters, essentially marrying off children to terrorists. What does this ascending nightmare mean for the women of Afghanistan? That is our big question. And it is one that should concern all of us, not just as women, but as human beings. We are going to go across live to Kabul in a moment from now, where we're joined by an extraordinarily courageous woman. The bandwidth out of Kabul is a bit sketchy, so if we lose her, our audience will forgive us. We will reconnect to her as soon as we can. But in the meantime, let's bring up Mehbouba Seraj on the program. Mehbouba Seraj is with the Afghan Women's Network and is the president of its board. Thank you very much, ma'am. I just want to remind our audience that you are somebody who was pushed into exile in those years when the Taliban took over, and then you returned home when they were ousted. Now it is a kind of history turning full circle. What is going through your mind and your heart at this hour?
What happened? What is going on that this country is falling into the hands of the Taliban so fast and so rapidly? So this is something that we honestly don't know why it's happening, and we don't know what is behind it. There are some deals being made, and we have absolutely no idea. Nobody's sharing anything with the people of this country, and we are absolutely in such a nightmare that I cannot explain it to the world. Honestly, it's like driving everybody crazy. Everybody is getting ready to leave the country. Everybody is on the verge of escaping. And what is going to be happening to Afghanistan, for God's sakes? How did the world allow for something like this to happen is beyond me. There's nothing, no way I can tell, or no way I can justify what is happening. Why did this happen? I mean, how come they didn't see it? How come nobody could figure it out? How come, or did they do it purposely? Did they give us in the hands in harm's way purposely? Why did they put us in harm's way purposely? These are all of the questions that is driving us crazy, and we wanna just we want to go to the world, to the women of the world, and ask everybody, please support us, because we don't know what is happening. And if this is happening in Afghanistan, what is the how shall I say? Who can guarantee? What is the guarantee that it's not going to happen anywhere else in the world? So please, this is very important. Somebody has to look after all. Has to look after humanity in the world. What is going on? And here, just watching and waiting.
What is the word you would use? What is the word you would use? Would it be fear? Would it be anger? Would it be despair? If I had to ask you to pick a word to describe what in particular
certain anger, frustration, and anger. There is such an anger and frustration in all of us that I cannot tell you how bad that is. We are all so frustrated. I am so frustrated. so frustrated and so angry. I do remember my sister even told me that, Mehbouba, I saw your interview, and what I could see in your face was a complete and a 100% anger from my sister, that your heart is broken and you're so angry. And it is the truth. But anger is not a bad thing. Anger can be used to fix things. I know that. But at the same time, we are so helpless. How am I supposed to fix things? How? How are we going to fix things? It's just that's the way it has become our lives. This is like terrible. It really is terrible.
Aren't you
But then
scared?
again,
I can feel your anger, but aren't you scared?
Anytime one thing I should say, the one thing that has always saved me, and not only me, but the people of Afghanistan and the women of Afghanistan, is what? Is their sense of humor. We have a phenomenal sense of humor, all of us. And that resilience and the sense of humor. So every single time when I get very fearful, honestly, the next thing I can think of is another woman, and another young girl, especially somewhere in Afghanistan, who is absolutely petrified. And then I stop myself and I say, no, honey, you are actually in a much better position right now, because you're 73 years old and people will come after you to kill you, but they're not going to come after you for anything else, hopefully. But those girls, the young girls of this country, what are they going to do? So when I think of all of that, then I say, no. And then the fear disappears, honestly. It becomes a lot less. But the frustration and the anger...
What is there? Resilience, yes, but sense of humor, what do you do? Like, how do you find anything to smile about these days?
There's nothing to smile about. We just I guess we just very, very sadly, we just laugh at the way we have been used, We allowed it in a way, that? I'm complaining about the world. I'm complaining about the countries of the world. I'm complaining about the international community. And today I realized that I should be complaining about us also. We allowed all of this to happen to us.
Why? Why do you blame yourselves?
Because if the people of a country don't allow it, these things don't happen. This is the truth. We shouldn't have allowed it. We shouldn't have allowed the country to get to the point that it did. This is not something that happens in one day. This is not something that happens in 1 year. This is something that happens in years and years and years of bad planning, of really having such a horrible, how shall I say, creating such an atmosphere of greed, atmosphere of everybody putting, having two hands and then borrowing more and putting everything in their pockets or in every hole in their body. Why so much greed? Why did we destroy this country with greed? And the people of this country destroyed Afghanistan with greed. They wanted everything for themselves. And then 35 million people, maybe 1 million of them has everything. How about the rest of the 34? What are we going to do with the 34 million? Are we going to, what? Nobody's going to look after them? And then all the money, all the power, all the possibilities went to a certain group of people, and that was it.
Who do you blame? Do you blame the Americans? Who are you the angriest with in the world? Are you angry with the Americans? Are you angry with Pakistan? Many believe Taliban is a Pakistan project. Are you angry with countries like India? Do you think our country should be doing more? Who are you the angriest with, and for what different reasons?
Well, I'm angry with the United States, first of all. I'm angry with Pakistan as much as I'm angry with the United States. I'm angry a bit with India because of not anything else, but because of the fact that such a powerful country, they could have played a better role. And I still think that they can. They really can do that if they want to. I'm angry at I'm angry at all of the European countries, because so many times I went to them. I went to NATO and I went and asked them and begged them. I said, for God's sakes, you're Europe. You can stand on your own. You can really stand by us. You can stand by the women of Afghanistan. You can stand by the people of Afghanistan. Don't leave us like this. Don't do this. They didn't. Because the second the United States, decided to leave Afghanistan, all of Europe did the same thing. It's like why? Why? Where did we go wrong? What did we do to the world to deserve this? Right now, I feel like I am in a laboratory that something is being tested on me, and I have no power to say don't do this. I swear to God, that's exactly how I feel. I feel I am in a lab, and there are things that are being tested on me, and the results of it are going to be whatever, and the world is going to sit down and watch us.
Yeah.
This is how I feel.
Can you explain to our audience what it will mean for women that these men, these terrorists, are back in so many capitals, that today they stand 95 miles short of where you are sitting in Kabul, that they have already begun to terrorize young girls. Can you, for a generation that has forgotten over these last 20 years what the Taliban means for women, for you who lived through it, who knows it, can you tell our audience?
Well, it means that, and for the women on different parts of the country will mean something different. We should not forget that. For the young women, for the women that are not married, means one thing. For the women that are married with the young husbands and their young children, means something else. For the women that they are at the forefront and they're working for the government or running offices, or their faces and their voices have been heard, means something else. For the women of power, means something else. So for all of us women, it means something different. But none of them is good. That's the worst part of it. It's not that for some of us women it's going to be absolutely perfect. Everybody's going to be happy. Somebody's going to be looking after them. Everything is going to be right. It's not going to be like that. So for everybody, it's going to be a loss. For some, depending on where they are, the degree of loss will be different. For some, it's going to be a loss of their lives. For some, it's going to be a loss of their freedom. For some, it's going to be a loss of their choices. For some, it's going to be a loss of something. The girls can't go to school. The girls cannot get educated. The girls can't go and work. They can't choose the husband that they are going to be marrying. They cannot. Some of the women can't live. So all of this. So depending on where they are, it's a different degrees of what they're going to be losing, and we're all going to be losing something.
What are you hearing about the reports that we are seeing about young girls being forced to marry the terrorists of the Taliban?
Well, even on the reports are also so absolutely unbelievable reports. Reports are coming from different places, and we don't know who to believe really. There are reports that Taliban are actually trying to help some of these girls that are being shipped out of Afghanistan and coffins, absolutely being they give them an injection, and they are not unconscious young girls that they want to transfer them on the other side of the border. And there are Taliban that actually of Afghanistan that they are stopping this because they are being taken by the Pakistani Taliban. So there are different things that we are hearing every single time. Now we really don't know how much of that is the truth and how much of that is a lie, how much of that they are making it up, how much of that is something, propaganda in order to weaken our morale, because this war and this fight is not only physical. It's a war of wits. It's a war of the media. It's a war of how shall I say, the propaganda. So it's all of that, and the Taliban are getting extremely clever with their propaganda.
Can you share your personal journey? How you ended up in exile? How you came back? What you went through?
Well, actually, my personal journey, the strangest thing is that, I've seen Afghanistan in so many different lights. I am the how shall I actually? I am the how shall I say, the first. What is the word? The first sacrifice of the communist takeover in Afghanistan. My family was a whole lot of them were killed. We were all put in jail, and then from jail we were all taken to wherever we went to Germany, and then from Germany we went to the United States. So we all became refugees in Afghanistan. So, in the United States. And then in the United States, I was there for many, many years. and then I came back. At the time of Taliban, actually, I was not here. I was here at the time of the communists, not the Taliban. The Taliban, I was outside of the country, but every single day I was in contact as much as possible, in hearing and watching and being the, getting the news of my family, getting the news of the people I knew, how they were flying this, they were leaving this country and how they were going all over the world. So I came then back on the 2003, and I've been here since 2003. And then from all of these years, I've been the one that actually we are watching the new generation of Afghanistan, take their place in the society. The new generation of Afghanistan take their place in making and building Afghanistan. There are some young girls in Afghanistan today that they haven't seen the war. I mean, they haven't seen, and they've seen the rest of this kind of a war that we had every single day, but not the actual one. And I've been so pleased that at least they didn't see that. But then again, this is all of this we are going to be facing. But it's not only that. There's the COVID. There is there's the climate change in the world. What are we going to do? What is coming out of this world? What are we building? What are we destroying? What is it that we are doing? Where the humanity is going to go? I have no idea.
Did you see the report that the Americans are actually, one, flying in troops to evacuate their own people, and two, appealing to the Taliban to leave their embassy unharmed in Kabul? When you read that, I mean, did you laugh or did you mock? I mean, could you believe your eyes and ears?
I really couldn't. This morning, actually, I read that this morning, and I said, oh, wow. Yeah, of course, that's how it's going to be. I mean, you're going to be doing exactly that. And this is what, you're going to be sending 3,000 people, to get all of the Americans out of this country, which I happen to be, an Afghan American. So you're going to trying to get me out of here also, out of this country. And then for a situation that you are the one that created it. You are the ones that created it. So, why do you want us to get out of here? And then, but of course, they have to get out.
So I have to ask you about three leaders, one by one. If you could talk to them, what would you say to them? So if you could talk to Joe Biden, what would you say to him?
I will say to Mr. Joe Biden, Mr. Biden, I went through so much trouble voting for you. And I was so happy that you became the president because I'm a Democrat. But I could never believe it the day that you said that your gut feeling told you that what you're doing in Afghanistan is right. I did not vote for your gut feeling. I vote for your brain. I vote for your heart. I vote for your conscience. That's the one I vote for. And I vote for my Democrat president, not for his gut feeling. That's what I will say to Biden. And I will tell him that you made a very wrong decision, Mr. President. I'm sorry to say that to you. I will tell him that.
And if you were to talk to Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, what would you say?
Oh, I will tell Imran Khan, for God's sakes, get a life, man. Don't you know what the heck is happening? Can't you tell what is going on? You really think by doing what you're doing, you're going to make a safe place for Pakistan or for the world? Don't you know that the direction that you are taking is going to take you God only knows where? This is not only going to be bad for Afghanistan and for the world, but it's going to be bad for Pakistan especially. What was wrong with us as your neighbor? Anything you told us we did. Any game you played as far as our export and import, as far as our business deals and everything, we did that. What wasn't that we didn't do? Why couldn't you work with us? Hand in hand, for God's sakes. Why? Why couldn't you? Why do you have to go this way? I know it's not only your fault because you have an army that is running the country, but come on, guy. You have to really, really be thinking of it. You are, and the day when he was becoming the Prime Minister of Pakistan, I was really happy because I thought, he's such an intelligent man, and I knew his struggles for becoming what he became. And I was kind of, watching him from afar, and really, I thought, the man really has a guts, to be doing this. This is pretty courageous. But look at what he's doing. He's doing the same mistakes as everybody else. He's going the wrong way.
And finally, if you were to talk to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you would say what? Our Prime Minister.
Yeah, I know. I will tell Mr. Narendra Modi, please try to be a friend. You have been a friend of Afghanistan for a very long time, but try to be a real friend of Afghanistan. Don't do some of your proxy things that you're doing, behind the scenes in Afghanistan. Don't do that. It's not going to be good for you, and it's not going to be good for anybody. Be the honest man that you are and you can be. And for God's sakes, think of the world. Don't think of only one sect of the world. Don't think of the one group of the world, of the people that you believe in, of your brothers and sisters. Think of all of us. India today has among the biggest population of Muslims. I mean, that is something really wonderful, and you can live with them. Let's show the world how we do it, how India does it. You can live with everybody together. And so just be a little bit more, be careful, because he can do something wrong, because humanity and men are really, they're pretty strange.
Yeah.
They do some strange things.
Yeah, it's a very, diplomats in India say it's a very complex situation, and everything depends on what happens in the battlefield. And therefore, it's up to the Afghan forces to be able to maintain some control in the battlefield. But we're seeing capital after capital fall. Do you believe that the return of the Taliban is now a given? We've had reports that say that before the 9/11 anniversary, which is not too far away, you will see Taliban in control in Kabul. Do you feel that, or do you think that this can still be stopped?
No, the thing is that from the very beginning, I was thinking, when all of this happened, okay, fine, this is happening. But what I don't understand, what I really don't understand, is that Afghanistan has an army. Afghanistan has trained soldiers. Afghanistan has a whole force. There are young men that they've been giving their lives and heart and soul for this country. How come they're losing continuously? What is happening there? There is another deal going on somewhere. I want to find out who's the one that is doing that deal. And one day, I can promise you, the people of Afghanistan will find that out. When that is found out, whoever did this is going to be the nastiest human being on the face of the history of Afghanistan, and will go down in that name. Because somebody is doing something. How on earth, how can I believe that 4 of my provinces in a matter of 24 hours or 48 hours are falling? Why? Are we sitting somewhere and just looking at all of this? They're giving up. Why are they giving up? Somebody is doing something. There is a deal in the back. There's a deal behind the curtains. And I hope that the people of Afghanistan find out who made that deal and with whom and why. And I really pray.
One country we haven't spoken about is China. China actually hosted the Taliban. There's a sense in India that China and Pakistan are in this together. The Americans, of course, have the primary responsibility for the abandonment and abandoning without a plan. But China, how do you see the role of China?
The role of China is very, I can say that it's not very clear, and I'm sure the world knows that Chinese are not very open people. They never say, about what they're going to do. Their policies are extremely, extremely covered, extremely closed. What China really wants out of Afghanistan is what is underground in Afghanistan. That's what China is interested in, and they're going to get it. And they're going to get it because they need it, and all of that riches is very needed, and they're going to make deals with Taliban. That I'm sure of. It's just that I don't know whether they made some kind of a deal with the Afghan people in power in Afghanistan or what. I don't know. I mean, they did something absolutely phenomenal, because nobody knows anything about it. Whom they bought, whom they paid money to, whom they bribed, I don't know. But when somebody comes to bribe somebody, when somebody gets into a country and pays them to do something, right away in my mind, what goes on is that, in this country, there are people that they're selling themselves. So that means that there are people that are actually selling Afghanistan and selling their brothers and sisters and selling this land. Who are they? That's exactly what's happening. So if that's the case, I really want to find out who are they. because nobody can buy something if there's no seller.
A last question to you. One of the things you said in the beginning is that what happens here can happen elsewhere tomorrow, that the world should not think this is only Afghanistan's crisis. Could you elaborate on this? I think people do not understand how intricate the links are between the Taliban, a regrouping of the Al-Qaeda, the ISIS, Pakistan terror groups like the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Lashkar-e-Taiba. The return of the Taliban does not keep this region safe. This is not only Afghanistan's albatross, it is going to make the world a more dangerous place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason for it is because the world is becoming such a small place. Everybody should really realize that right now you think of something somewhere in God knows in the most furthest point of the earth, and the people were going to find out about it in 24 hours all over the world. This is called the way that the earth is shrinking, is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller every day. So if they don't want to believe in that, that is because they don't want to think. That is because they don't want to use their brain. That is because they want to avoid everything. Let's not be on the avoiding mood. Let's open our eyes and our ears, and let's be united, especially as women. I'm begging you all, please be united with the Afghan women. Afghan women right now need you all so much. And there's going to be a time we all have to stand together. We have to give hands together, stand together, and make things happen for all of us. That is my point, and I always wanted to ask.
Yeah, and I hope that women like yourselves keep speaking. But will you stay on in Kabul, or do you think that women who can leave will now leave because they have no choice? And everybody, women are facing an existential threat. There are women I've spoken to who say the Taliban will come and kill us. Do you feel that your life is safe, Mehbouba Seraj? Is your life safe?
To tell you the honest truth, I have promised my sister in the United States. I told her. She said, make me one promise. I send you with God and you can go and be there. Okay, don't come back to the United States, because that's one of the things I did. I went and sold my house there, and I'm not going to go back. That is my decision. But at the same time, she said, I want you to promise me that if your life is in danger, you are not going to sit there and be a martyr. I said, I'm not a martyr type, sweetheart, and I'm not going to do that, because I do believe that if nothing else, I have to be alive in order for the rest of my sisters to be their voice. And if I'm not there, at least I have to be somewhere in the world alive to at least raise my voice again. So I'm not a martyr, I want to tell everybody. But if that is what my destiny is, that I'm supposed to die, then I die. There is nothing to be afraid of, because the fact of the world is that we are born to die. One day we are born, another day we are going to die. So that does not make it the end of life. That does not make it the end of me. That does not make it the end of the Afghanistan struggle, nor the end of the women. There's going to be women alive all over the world that, with a smile in their face or with a joke in their heart, they can keep on going, and they will go on. And I can promise you, and you are going to be reporting about us. So that is so wonderful.
And I hope that it never comes to that. I hope your voice and the voice of other Afghan women are heard. I hope the world still steps in and stops this nightmare from unfolding. Thank you for your courage, for raising your voice, for being who you are. We're all inspired. Mehbouba Seraj, we will stay in touch with you, and we hope you stay safe in the meantime, but stay brave, just as brave as you are. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.